By names, I'm Yenka Daniel, a student of MA Con, Chambogo University. I'm going to review the coursework which was given to us by Dr. Chiza and the course unit of economic development. There are different articles that were given to us, and I want to review these different articles. The first article is that of adoption of improved agricultural technologies in developing countries, which was authored by Solomon Yokamo. According to his article, it does assert that improvement in agricultural technology is a tool that can enhance production and productivity in the agri sector, to reduce poverty and food and ensure food security in these developing economies. He goes to assert that much as technology is very vital in these developing economies, the rate of adoption to this technology in these developing economies has been low. And he came up with some factors that have led to the low adaptability of people in LODCs to the modern technology, which can enhance production in agriculture. One of the factors he talked about in his article is that of economic factor, that most of the people in developing countries, they are practicing agriculture on a small scale. So it becomes uneconomical for one who is practicing agriculture on a small scale to really use modern techniques of production in agriculture, like use of tractors, like use of fertilizers, that it may not be economical. So we find that there are very few people who have large expanses of land who have gone ahead to use the modern techniques of agric production or the modern technology to enhance production. So this has led to low levels of adaptability to the modern techniques of agriculture. Another one is technological factor. This one, according to him, he asserts that the technology which people are to adapt to, it has to be the technology that they are familiar with. You find that if people are not used to the technology they are going to operate, this reduces the level at which they will adapt or use that type of technology. So if the technology is complex, this has led to many people shying away from using the modern technology. Another factor he talked about is demographic factor, like the age, the gender, and the educational background. Definitely, if people are not really educated, it becomes hard for them to adjust to the modern techniques of production or of production in agriculture. So the level of education, looking at this is many people have not really attained high levels of education. So this has also hindered the level at which these people adapt to the modern techniques or the modern technology in agriculture. Another factor is the social cultural factors, which prohibit the use of different methods of technology in agriculture. According to people's social ties, this one has also affected. He also talked about the issue of institutional factor, how these extension services are close to the farmers. You find that in most of the LODCs like Uganda, these extension services are far away from the farmers. This also limits the use of the modern techniques of production in agriculture. Solomon Yakomo, he also went ahead to look at the factors that encourage people to easily adapt to the new technology, the relative advantage in the new technology. Is the new technology better than the previous that has been taking place? If it is better, then the rate at which people will go for the new technology will be high. At the degree of compatibility, does it fit in the needs of the people? Then they will adapt very easily. Another is complexity. Complexity, or is it easy to understand? Has it been ever tried? And another one is observability. As far as the results in the technology, are the results being seen? Can they be seen where it has been practiced? So those are some of the issues that were being put forward by Yokamo in his view, according to, by looking at technology and the level at which people have been concurring and adapting to it. There is another article which was also given to us, and this one is talking about a lack of women's participation in the general economy is really a major obstacle to development. According to this article, it addresses the fact that indeed the women do contribute a lot to economic development if they are given the opportunity. According to this article, they assert that given the fact that the population of the population is indeed halfway women and halfway men, if half of the population does not participate in economic development, it means the level of development will be low. So they encourage the participation of women to enhance economic development. If the ladies are allowed and they are encouraged to participate in economic development, definitely the issue of market will be addressed, because they will also be participating in different economic activities. There will be at least full utilization of resources to enhance economic development. Looking at some statistics, I find in this article they talk of the market differences. Looking at the women, that the consumption rate of women is high or is higher than that of men. So if the women are empowered and they get jobs and they participate in different economic activities, it means that we shall have an increase in economic development. You find that most of the women, they spend a lot of money on education, on food, on health services, on the consuming of durable and financial services. So here, the issue is encouraging different governments to persuade and put up an enabling environment and sensitize the men that it is vital for the women to participate in economic developing and in different activities. Another issue they talk about the women, there are some statistics which have been put forward that if you look at, generally if you look at organizations where there are women in the top positions, those organizations and companies have fared well, have been so productive compared to organizations which are being led by men in all their top positions. So this encourages the women that they should be part of this struggle of realizing economic development. They play a bigger role if they are involved in different aspects of economic development. Because looking at what they do, the trustworthiness of the women and their mode of expenditure or the way they practice their spending, or that if they have jobs, the women can really help in realizing economic goals and developing different countries. So that's what, according to that article, which is talking about gender and emphasizing the participation of women, that's what it is really talking about. There is another article, that one of agricultural technology adoption and non-farming earnings in Uganda. According to this article, they do believe that indeed technological improvement in agriculture is the pathway in reducing poverty in agrarian economies, which are found in sub-Saharan African countries. According to the research which was done, they say that agriculture is a major source of employment in African countries, because most of the people in African countries, they live in rural areas, and it is in rural areas where agriculture is practiced. So if there is advanced technology which is extended to them, it means we shall expect high increase in production in the agri sector. However, according to this article, they say that most of the people in rural areas, they are indeed practicing a small-scale kind of farming, which cannot realize the goal. And the technology has not been adapted because of the yields and the profits which they are getting from the agri sector. So according to this article, which was being put forward by Gracious Dilo and Abdul Gisam, to them, they say that people who are participating in agriculture have failed to raise the funds that can help them to afford the modern techniques of agriculture. So the funds which are being used in agriculture, they are being got from non-farming activities. It is the non-farming activities which are being used, the money which is generated from non-farming activities, it is the one which is being used to purchase the modern techniques in agriculture, the fertilizers, the tractors. All this is being got from the non-farming activities in rural areas. Many people are participating in non-farming activities. In urban areas, many people are practicing non-farming activities, and it is those non-farming activities that have helped agriculture to be in position that these farmers or people who are practicing agriculture, that they have been able to use those earnings from non-farming activities to be in position to purchase the modern technologies which are needed in agriculture. So that's what that article really emphasizes. There is still another article which talks about Greek technology in Africa. Still in this article, they are emphasizing the importance of modern techniques or modern technology in agriculture, that without it, indeed agriculture being the backbone of Africa, we cannot earn much from the Greek sector. They also, according to this one, they come up with some factors. They even encourage the government and private partners to come up and sensitize the masses and contribute to the purchasing of this technology. A case in Uganda find that the government of Uganda has been going on buying tractors and giving them to lower local governments, of which these lower local governments, some of them use these tractors, hire them, or give them to those large-scale farmers so that they can have an opportunity to use those technologies to improve their production. However, according to this, this one article was put forward by Atavenet Suri. He talks about what has hindered the people from accessing the modern techniques of farming in agriculture. He talks about the cost of buying and implementing the new technology. Some people really don't have the money to buy machines, to buy the fertilizers. That has hindered them. The lack of credit facilities has been a big blow. Some of the credit facilities are there, but the interest rate is also high. That one also deters people from going to access the credit facilities. The insurance constraint, farmers are unable and they fear to go in for the new technology. They fear it may come up with the losses. Knowledge constraint, some farmers don't have the knowledge on the new techniques which are being brought about. They don't have any information, so they fear to use that new technology. There's limited access to market for their products. So given the fact that they don't know where they are to sell their products in most of these LODCs, this one, it deters them into going into large-scale farming, which requires the use of high technologies. There is another issue of the imperfect labor market. It is hard also to hire and get to know where these farmers or agriculturists, where they can get the required labor if needed. So the labor market is not also perfect. There's a problem of land quality and soil, the challenge of climate. All those factors have deterred many people from going in for large-scale farming and looking at large-scale farming and employing high technologies which can really develop agriculture. Another article which was given to us is that one of reviewing the remittances and brain drain. Indeed, in most of these LODCs, very many people leave their home countries and go to other countries to get jobs. You find that you find that in looking at the statistics, you find that like countries like Jamaica, you find that every countries like Jamaica, you find that they train 5 doctors, and out of the 5 doctors trained in Jamaica, 1 stays in Jamaica, 4 go to other countries. It also works in other countries like Grenada. Most of their skilled people, they do leave Grenada and go to USA. It is also the same thing in Uganda. Most of our skilled people have left Uganda and gone to other countries, mainly countries in Europe, because of some challenges like low wages and others. Indeed, according to this article, there is a scholar called Rather who argued that the more people go out, the more remittances we are likely to get. Indeed, Uganda gets remittances from those people who go abroad, but the remittances are very small, looking at some of the factors which may hinder this. We find that some of the remittances which are brought back to Uganda and the other countries, they are not productively used. They are wasted in conspicuous expenditures. Another issue is that some of the remittances which are being brought, they may lead to moral hazards in the recipient countries and so not developing the economy. Another is most of the people who do leave countries like LODCs like Uganda, those who go abroad, you find that those skilled people who go abroad, they are coming from families that are well off. And those well off families, they don't require their money to survive. Some of these skilled people who go, they are sons of ministers, they are sons of those people who are working in big organizations in the country. So the moment they go out, their parents don't even require that remittance or that money which these sons do get from abroad. So you find that this one also limits the level of development, that the remittances we might have expected to get as an economy, as a country, we don't get it because people who would have got the remittances, they are well off. They don't even need from money from their people who have gone abroad. Many of these people who go abroad, they tend to stay there for long years. They stay there for a longer time. This one leads to breakage or breaking of the social ties, which also affects the economy, and that hinders its development. So that is the issue of remittances and the brain drain. Much as very many people are going, but the economy may not be benefiting because some of them, they are from well-off families. Some of them go there and even forget about their relatives, so they don't remit any income which can be used to facilitate economic growth. There's another issue, another article, that one of reviewing the third National Development Plan, 2020-2021, 2024-2025. The vision of that National Development Plan, the third, is to transform Uganda society from a peasant to modern and prosperous economy or country. I find by the time this development plan was made, we had a challenge, not only Uganda, but even other economies of COVID. So this development plan was done to make sure that move away from the pandemic and continue to move smoothly like we used it to be before COVID. You may realize, and it is a factor according to this article, that our economy has been really developing, has been moving. The GDP has been increasing. The domestic revenue has increased. Looking at the earnings of different years, the previous years, earnings from the exports have been increasing as a result of these development plans which have been put up. The remittances have been increasing. The total of paved roads has been increasing. Access and the utilization of health and education services have been increasing as well. Now, the aim of this National Development Plan, which was this 5-year National Development Plan, its aim, the one we are running now, is to make sure that they improve on the GDP, they improve or increase on the level of infrastructure development, they increase on the creation of gainful jobs, they increase on the capital which is being generated and the economy. They reduce people, they encourage people to reduce on their heavy reliance on the subsistence sector and go into manufacturing and industrialize the economy, so that the standard of living can increase and move higher. Now, according to this National Development Plan, there are 18 programs which were put forward to enable our country really develop. One of the programs is the agro-industrialization program to reduce the subsistence sector as well as commercializing agriculture. Another one is the manufacturing program to increase exports and reduce importation. Another one is the private sector development program to increase competitiveness. Another one is the technological development and transfer. There is the one of sustainable energy program. Another one is sustainable urbanization and housing programs, governance and security, human capital development through education and sensitization, and good health and education. All those are the programs which this third National Development Plan is addressing in different ways, in form of constructing industries, in form of modernizing agriculture, to reduce on the level of unemployment which does exist in countries like Uganda and other countries. So the expectation is that maybe by the end of the 5 years, we would have registered an increase in poverty, an increase in income inequality. We shall have realized a reduction in poverty, a a reduction in income inequality, a growth in agriculture, an increase in the contribution of industrialization. We shall have realized an increase in the employment on the side of the youth and a reduction in the overdependency on the subsistence sector, as well as increase in the use of electricity to boost development in our economy. As I do conclude, another article that we are given to review is that one of the fourth industrial revolution. Industrial revolution is a concept and a development that has fundamentally changed our societies and the economy as a whole. A revolution, it means a rapid and a fundamental change. And in our economy, there has been a fundamental change that has been brought about by the industrial sector, moving away from the subsistence, moving away from agriculture, and then going to industrialization. We have seen a lot of developments. We had the first industrial revolution. That one was characterized by acceleration, and acceleration which was in the mechanical production. From there, we went to the second industrial revolution, which comprised of introduction of conveyor belts and mass production. We moved to the third industrial revolution, which comprised of digital automation of production by any means of electronics and IT. And currently we are finding ourselves in the fourth industrial revolution, and this fourth is characterized by the use of the cyber system, or the cyber system internet, which is aimed at integrating production and bringing up sustainability, as well as satisfying the consumers' needs. Now, at this stage in the fourth industrial revolution, where we are currently, we are seeing that many factories, many industries, they are now relying more on the internet system. They are using video cameras, they are using entrance tickets, they are using tablets. All this is aimed at improving efficiency, quality, security of production, and enhancing production, which is of higher quality. The fourth stage, according to this kind of article, this fourth stage of industrial revolution, people do argue that it is likely to lead to a higher level or higher levels of unemployment, because looking at LDCs, Uganda in particular, most of our people take long to adapt to the new changes in the technology. So people who were initially working using, who were casual, who were using their hands, may not be in position to operate this new technology, which is in a process, which is being used in the fourth industrial revolution. People do argue that a lot of high levels of unemployment will be witnessed. But also, there's the fact that the coming up of this new technology in the fourth industrial revolution, much as people lose jobs, but there are others who will also get jobs. There's an example which was quoted here, that these kids who are entering primary now, by the time they come out in 15 years from now, the jobs which were there in the beginning of their primary may not be the jobs they will find after 15 years because of this technology. So the technology, or the fourth industrial revolution, is likely to come up with new jobs, much as the other people who are likely to lose their jobs. People who are likely to lose their jobs, they include like these people who repair the watches, people who do the cargo and freight, these cargo and freight agents, they are likely to lose their jobs. Looking at the use of the internet, goods can be ordered from where someone is if he's on the internet. Library technicians will lose their jobs. Data entry keepers will lose their jobs in this fourth industrial revolution. Loans officers are likely to lose their jobs and others. However, much as there is this fourth industrial revolution, there are people who will not lose their jobs. According to this article, an example of the health workers, they will still continue to work. Recreational therapists, they will continue to work. Physicians and surgeons, they will also continue to work, much as this technology or this fourth industrial revolution is in place, and it will continue to be in place. The only challenge, as I conclude, is the level of adaptability of the labor force in LDCs or in these economies like Uganda, that the levels to which we adapt to the new technology is very slow, and it is low. That is what will cause high levels of unemployment in our economies due to the fourth industrial revolution. However, there are other people who will continue to earn, those to get jobs, those who can adapt very quickly. So thank you very much. My name is Yenka Daniel. That is how I have tried to review these several articles which were given to us. Thank you.